And hi everyone, welcome back to the deck. We are live. Isaac here, as always, and I'm also joined by other team members today. First of all, it's Neo today who always helping us with the gameplay. But today, sadly, he won't be able to speak because he's been coughing for the last few weeks. So let's wish him get well soon, and really appreciate that he still came up here and helped us with the stream. And also, we have Sam Quack today. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah,
Doing-
quite excited to, talk and maybe shed some light on what's coming soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's your, I think, third stream in a row, is it?
Yeah.
You're like on a good strike with
Yes.
that. Cool, but always our community loves seeing it on the stream. But first of all, before we dive in, I want to ask the chat: is the sound good? Is everything okay? And if all good, we can dive straight into it. So the goal of this particular stream is similar as to what we had last time: is to answer your questions, is to kind of update you on the development progress. Because with the year 3, and we revealed our roadmap with the showcase, and we told that the roadmap, this is our plans, but it's still flexible depending on the community feedback, on the priorities. So this is why we are committed to update you guys, to keep you guys posted on the development. So over the past few weeks, we've had our insider program, phase 17, where participants had an opportunity to test an early work in progress build, with some of the content coming later in year 3 season 2. So the insider program, as you guys know, maybe some of you not, is a very valuable tool of our development progress, that allow us to collaborate with our community very closely, by giving players early access to work in progress features. We're able to get our feedback, to iterate on what we're building and improve future updates before they launch. And but the thing is that during this phases, players, they still kind of experience not finished, not polished version of the futures, right? And but they still take time to give the feedback, to experience it, and we really appreciate that help, the passion you guys show us. So yeah, so today we'd like to give everyone an update after the insider program phase, highlight some of the improvements we're gonna make based on the feedback. But we'll be keeping things very high level today because we don't want to spoil too much coming to the year 3 season 2 launch. But most importantly, as I said, we want to continue being transparent with our community as we deliver our year 3 roadmap. So keeping you informed throughout the development is important to us, and the deck is one of the ways to do it. So before we dive in, Sam, I want to start, like, before we're getting into the specific feedback and the changes, I want to ask you to give us an overview of how this particular insider phase went. What were some of the major features that we've tested?
Yep. So one of the biggest things that we wanted to start letting players have some exposure with and hands-on is with a new faction of enemies that we're adding, particularly into World Tier 4. Unfortunately, the entire faction, not all of the ships and the bosses were in yet. But we wanted to start testing out because as a faction, this entire faction, the ships are all having what we call the improved armored weak points mechanic. So all of the ships are challenging. It takes a bit more targeting to take them down effectively, and they tend to attack players in groups, right? So this is part of what we wanted to bring out forth with a World Tier 4 enemy faction there. Of course, when we introduced this faction, we were also positioning them as one of the key avenues for a new layer of rewards that are primarily available on World Tier 4 as well, to bring off, as we talked about, we want each layer of World Tier to start having their own rewards and motivations for players. Why they should be playing there is it's not just a matter of time efficiency factors. There should be exclusive chase and appealing rewards for players at each level. So this faction is just one of the key factors of how we are bringing this whole motive to light. So it was one of the key things that we tested. We at least got quite a lot of feedback regarding the perception of how the new armored weak points on the ships that they encounter are. We also got good feedback on like, hey, some of the ships that they face are way too deadly. Some seem to be not as effective as they appear. Like, oh, it seems like they are quite threatening, but when they actually took the damage, it was like, oh, it wasn't as bad as we thought. Whereas there are some ships that looked like they shouldn't be that deadly were melting players. So all those were key feedbacks, and we're trying to adjust to make sure that when this new enemy is faced as a whole, the fleet starts to come together for that. Other important features we also tested included long-awaited mod transfer. So we had the first form of it in, but we were actually still working on further improvements to it. But fortunately, the feedback that we get directly confirmed that the improvements that we're still trying to get out for that season is on the right path. So all those were very strong points and feedback for us.
Okay, and so as you mentioned, so one of the major features that we've tested during IP was the new enemy, right? And we've already talked about this a bit, I think, during the previous stream. But for anyone who may have missed, could you like maybe give a very high level overview of what it is, and maybe what are the biggest takeaways from the feedback that we got, and how the team gonna approach the experience for players?
Okay. So we wanted so this new enemy faction that's coming in. They are directly tied to the story and the events that have been unfolding every season. The story will continue to unfold, and we will both learn more about where the story is heading, as well as shed some light on the nature of the faction itself. And at the same time, we had an improvements to having the harder enemy ships that we face, and we thought that this was actually also a good way to bring in a new enemy for players that is not always that, hey, new challenge equals new boss. Right. I think like in the end, we when we want to introduce a new faction or new elements into the game, we kind of want to also make sure that they have a new unique angle on how players will look at them and interact with them, right? So that's all we have, and of course, one of the key things about this new faction is they are also direct access to the new rewards that we've set up. So there will be a lot of new juicy rewards for players that also further reinforce this pursuit of naval combat mastery, getting your loadout, your build to perfection. So this faction, both the activity that it will bring about as well as the associated rewards, is the next pinnacle of the player experience.
Yep. And when it comes to maybe like key feedback from the community that we've gotten, how are we going to either refine or address those feedback in the coming seasons?
Yep. So there we have been doing some balances and tweaks here and there.
Yep.
Some of them I can share more in the later questions that we will be
Sure.
tackling. That particularly concerns like, hey, as we go up to world tiers, the feeling of the combat sometimes it becomes very strange that everything is hitting very hard. Players can also hit very hard, but at the same time, it feels like, oh, it's a very chaotic situation. Sometimes you die quickly, or if you kill them fast, but at the same time, when you kill them fast, you don't actually enjoy the fight with the enemy as much. It feels like, oh, whoever shoots first wins in that scenario. So those are kind of all the things that we have been constantly tweaking, especially as we work towards the much teased combat rework that's coming in season 3. And so we're all taking steps towards a direction, but it doesn't mean that we wait until that season for everything to come together. Where we can, we're already starting to take feedback and also do balances into the states of the game. as soon as we can.
But I think it's also will be important to kind of let the community know that the abyssal that's coming in year 2 season 2, right? It's not just like this one time new enemy, right? The team has kind of plans to evolve it over the future seasons, so it's like a first preview of what's coming
Yeah.
beyond year season 2.
I think the whole for the entire rest of year
Yeah.
3, we'll start to see more of them. We'll get to see more forms of this enemy, as well as it should accumulate towards something that we have planned that both kind of wraps up the player's exposure and understanding of, oh, this is what
Yep.
it is about, both in terms of the lore and the gameplay that we'll put out in the game.
Yeah, I see you're very cautious about the words that you're using. It's like, how do I talk about it but not spoiling too much? So I really appreciate your effort here. But I think moving to the next topic, so the community can experience like after the season launch. But I think one thing that we've kind of revealed already was the junk, right, with the year 3 showcase. You'll know that it's coming in year 3 season 2. So we've also had an opportunity to gather some feedback on the junk during the IP17. So what were some of the maybe biggest points players raised during this test, and did we had to refine or change anything prior to the launch of the season?
Yeah. So with the junk itself, it's another large ship that we've added into the game. But due to the nature and inspirations of the ship itself, the architecture was quite different from the usual Western-based ship house that we had. So initially we had quite a lot of feedback points that pointed to the junk being unwieldy, or difficult to turn or such. But of course, we have access to, we can look at the data setup, so we kind of like, hey, but it's not exactly matching up. So of course we did a lot more testing and scenario and observe what players were experiencing, and then we noticed that, oh, actually, due to the different shape of the ship itself, the aiming angles of the ship could be a little difficult, and that also resulted in the broadsides when players are moving the camera and trying to track a moving target. It wasn't aiming very well that way, because it was trying to follow the boxiness of the ship itself. So that was where we actually realized that, oh, okay, like these are all small things that add up, that can lead up to the certain feeling, because although we always had the impression that large ships, there should be a bit of a challenge in maneuvering, but that's not at the point that we wanted it to. So we went back and rebalanced, did some tuning, did some changes to how we usually set things up, because at the end it's the experience that is important. It's not just following to a fixed process. So that was where we also, hey, we need to break some of the things that is usually done in order to achieve the most ideal result. So I think after that we definitely solved the issue of the junk feeling very sluggish or very hard to turn to try and track in combat, especially since we talked about that there'll be a much more intense combat coming around in World Tier 4. Yeah. So that was kind of what went around with the junk itself.
So I think when it comes to junk, we did already reveal its role during the showcase. But is there any more details you can kind of share today? Just a little.
So the junk has a very interesting playstyle that has a very steady snowballing effect, where it can generally work well with quite a wide range of equipment on it. Of course, one of the overlapping themes that it will have is particularly with fire damage, is what I can say. But the playstyle itself also encourages you to be able to stay on target, or to commit to your damage building up, to ramp it up, and that's kind of how the playstyle go. You wanna home in on your target. You wanna stay aggressive. You wanna keep being able to lay fire on, and it's pretty much that's how it's gonna do. You're gonna burn down your enemy. At the same time, if your allies are also going to be playing with fire as well, you will definitely be a great assist to them, because you're constantly gonna be helping to shred your enemy's fire resistance. But yeah,
That's
yeah,
about
that's
it.
about it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, lots of fire. Yeah.
we will start sharing more details on the year season 2 content, I think, in a couple of weeks from now. So make sure you stay tuned on our socials as well. And I think I can share that we're gonna have another stream on August 12th to preview all of the content that's gonna come with year season 2. So stay tuned on that as well. But going back to the IP feedback and in general, the test phase. Another area that we've explored or tested during this phase was the removal of ammunition. Just as disclaimer, what player tested was not the final implementation, right? So basically, as I know, we just switched off the armor to like kind of gauge the initial reaction of the players. So, what was with that in mind? What was the biggest takeaway for the team? And how it influenced like our plans moving forward?
Okay, so I'm sure with especially the introduction of the galleon, with a lot of players using it as the new ship of the season, ammunition consumption rates skyrocketed, and then it started to run into the issues where we start to realize that, hey, um, players have to keep restocking on ammo. Sure, it's a simple action, or you could just like fill your cargo holds with like 20-30,000 cannonballs. But it just becomes an action that does it really solve any sort, or provide any sort of gameplay engagement that we really want to have. It just became a chore for a lot of players in that way. Um, and at the same time, it does take up some space in the player's cargo, the number of slots in warehouse. While it is not a lot of items, but um, we want to make sure that as part of our way to streamline and to take away all the friction, every bit counts. So when we think about it that way and we tested it out, as it is right now, ammunition being a part that, when we wanted to tie a bit more with a survival based gameplay, made sense. But after realizing that one of the key strengths of our game is in the naval combat, and that's where we are actually focusing on, we that became a lot of the leftover friction points. So we realized that there is a lot more benefit to have um, with the removal first, so that it doesn't hamper, or I mean, it's always annoying when sometimes you left with some ammo, but maybe after a few broadsides, you realize that, oh, I actually only had a few hundred cannonballs left, and that just exhausted all of it, and I'm in the middle of a fight. So those are all things that we don't want players to have to encounter. It's a unnecessary kind of a busy work that is there. um, so in the immediate scheme of things, to maintain the focus on combat, we believe that it is better to do away with it. Is that the end of the ammo topic? Maybe not, because we are looking at combat in a different sense as well. Because rather than it being a provisioning kind of a aspect, what if combat is something that has like there are ammo for weapons. You can acquire them during combat naturally. It automatically fills up. You don't have to go and buy from a store or pick up too much. But within each engagement, or stuff like that, what if there are controls? Does that mean that we can allow players to fire the mortars more often? Because it's just about minding how much ammo reserves you have, things like that. So it's not the end of the ammo topic, but for now, the way ammo as it exists is more of a pain point and a hassle than a meaningful addition to the gameplay experience.
Okay, I see some of initial reactions to this in the chat as well. But another aspect or feature that we've tested in IP17 was the item ascension and mod transfer was, right? And what were the team's also like learnings when it comes to this and how it shaped its iteration for year 3 season 2?
Uh, okay. So for item ascension, mod transfer itself, with the introduction of item ascension, was also something where there was a we had a plan for it. Um, there were some steps that were taken that were kind of put as limitations in place, but the rollout of the feature wasn't smooth, so the limitations grew up to
Mm.
become very huge pain points. Because we wanted to build like there was going to be a whole kind of flow and loop with it. That although we put in the limitation and it might be a quick way to just remove some of the limitations, but it would potentially block some of the future progressions, motivations, um, loops that we wanted to put into place. We had to hold back on a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
for a very while, and it constantly generated quite a fair bit of friction. But now we finally reached the stage where we have mod transfers, where the whole loop is going to be completed without where the limitations are put in place, so that there is value in why certain things are being awarded from more challenging activities. There is value to the final created weapon they have in the end. Um, so with mod transfer, we are very glad that it's both a way to resolve some of the earlier roadblocks that we placed. Plus, it's also another way that we need to have mod transfers in order to drop the new rewards that I talked about that the
Mm-hmm.
Abyssal Fleet is supposed to drop, World Tier 4 is supposed to provide. So it actually closed the whole loop that we had with how mods function, as well as the rewards that we can give that relate to mods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, before we dive in into the pre-collected questions, because as usually we collect them on Discord and Reddit before the stream, there were like also a number of other features, right, that we received, but we're not gonna go in details with everything. But we can say that we've tested the seasonal mastery update, right? Some of the quality of life improvements, some of the other features. So, is there anything to highlight for the community? Maybe any feedback that stood out, and then we are kind of addressing it before year 3 season 2 launch.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see a lot of players have been playing around with seasonal mastery, and yes, mastery loadouts would have made
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things better. But at the same time, we also did identify that at that point in time, with the content that was available, we didn't challenge players to also think of multiple mastery
Mm.
setups yet. But I think it's a good entry point to allow players to get familiar with using mastery leveling up, in addition to always just the act of, oh, I got a new cannon, I put it on, I'm done with that progression. So it's and it also exposes like some fine tuning here or there. You're able to, outside of equipment, balance between a bit more offense, a bit more defense. Do I want to play around with like one of my favorite was actually the crew attack range,
Mm.
because it made the whole using crew attacks to trigger bonuses on your attacks so much more streamlined. You are able to maintain a damage rotation very smoothly. Things like that made it fun. And of course, we also had a lot of learning points, like, hey, some parts of the notes are not useful or
Mm.
confusing to players. What can we do to try to improve usage of it? As well as, how do players actually play around with the seasonal perks, right? So everything was quite, I'll say, safe. Was quite safe with that introduction. But moving onwards to season two, we actually went a lot more um, options,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense, not that I'm blowing up the number of nodes, so that is already quite a headache for a lot of players,
Yeah.
I understand. But um, there is going to be quite significant different ways that you can play or uh, handle combat with the season 2 master.
Yep. Okay, Sam. So this was all about the particular content that's coming in VRT season two, right? But I think before we dive into the questions, I want to ask just overall where the development progress is now at. Like, how is our year two roadmap looking like, and are we already looking into beyond year two? If anything, you can share with the community at the moment.
So we have started our work on drafting out the roadmap and plan for year four. So I mean, we're still taking in as much live input feedback as we
Mm-hmm.
can to constantly make sure that any opportunity we have to make things better according to what feedback we already have is
Mm-hmm.
being done as well. But we have been following strongly along the commitment that we have, where gameplay is gonna be very focused on naval combat, and we want to increase the depth. After we have gone through all this increase of depth that we wanted to build up through the whole of year three,
Mm-hmm.
year four is also gonna be a lot of continued work on places where the depth really shines. You know,
Mm.
what sort of activities will test different kind of skills. How do we allow players to compare and show how good they are versus each other? How
Mm-hmm.
do we bring players together to also complete challenges and also show that, you know, it's a group effort, how this is how good they are, they work together and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Got it. And talking about just future roadmap in general, there was actually a question from the community about the ship. So the question was simple: can we please get a Z back?
So yeah, that's one of the options that we actually are narrowing down
Mm-hmm.
for year four. Unfortunately, the roadmap for ships for year three is already
Locked.
done and
Mm-hmm.
locked, and we're actually already on production for season four's ship. Um, but year four, we're still shaping it up. In fact, maybe I'll be interested to see like a poll of what kind of ships players are interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, that's a really good moment to ask the chat, guys. If you want to see a certain ships in year four, I think this is the best moment for you to share in the chat. Just type in what kind of ships you would like to see, and later we will as well do a recap of the comments and feedback. So yeah, let us know in the chat what kind of ships you would like to see coming in year four of Skull and Bones. And actually, you've mentioned that the team has already started production on the season four ship. So last time, I think during the showcase, we did not reveal too much of content, right? Or too much of information about season four ship. But is there any more details about like the size of the ship or anything you can share at this point?
It will still be a large ship, but its playstyle and potential equipment loadout is something that's never been seen before.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good tease.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so the next question from the community that I see here is, wait, let me see the chat. What kind of ship they want to see? Actually,
I think I saw some talks and requests about, you know, the frigate and the sails that you have.
mm-hmm.
So with the current frigate that we have, part of the consideration was also that it was built as a tank kind of archetype. So we actually omitted those sails, um, for presenting it not being as maneuverable. But that might not be the only frigate that we see in the game forever. So you might still see the sails on a frigate, just not the current one.
Okay, I see people wanting giant, really giant ships, extra large ships. Oh, actually, I want to touch on one thing. So I think last time during the stream we've shared that the small ship might come or might not come in year 3. But is there any update on this one that we can share or cannot?
Aha.
Aha.
Yes, for the first time, for the first time in our season, we are potentially having more than one new ship released in a season. So, I mean, as part of what we'll cover later on, in Combat 2.0, there's stuff that we have been working on that also made us push to provide additional ship being released. That is a small ship in season 3. So yeah, I hope to be able to share more eventually, especially hopefully with some images or
Yeah.
even some shots of the potential gameplay.
Yep. All right. So the next question is, so with the new galleon, could we see a rework or buff to the frigate like the Brig and Hulk in year 2, season 4?
Yes, it is actually something that we have considered to look at, not just the frigate as well, and also not just ships. There are some things that we have been looking on to tweak in between as we are heading towards the big change compared to 2.0 in season 3. But we're kind of testing out to see, is this is do we want to push for a change immediately, or do we do it with a full overhaul to account for the evolution of how combat is going to take place. But yes, we definitely are open to rework some of the ships. The frigate in particular that has been mentioned is actually one of the candidates that we have identified that could do with a bit of a retrofitting. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is the introduction of ships of the line as enemies possible in the short or medium term?
Short and medium term, probably not. But
Long
the
term?
long answer is yes.
Okay, this is all we get from you. Okay, the next question is, are we gonna get the Men of War from AC Black Flag resynced?
It's technically possible, but as mentioned, we are shaping up the plans for the content and how we want to use it within the game as well. Actually, one thing that I mean, there was quite a lot of questions about asking like, "Hey, now we're done with large ships. When can we get XL ships?"
Yeah.
Will 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 it be possible or okay if XL ships are something that a very special use case kind of situation? Because we've always let players have the free choice of being able to sail around all their ship sizes all over the world. Sure, it might be a bit of a tight fit, but you could kind of still get your galleon into into the rivers. But that's something that XL ships definitely cannot do, right? Otherwise, we might be artificially shrinking an XL ship. That doesn't make sense. But in that case, like we are looking into ways that we can introduce them to players. To will the option of it being a situational use case kind of a ship be something that players are okay with? Yeah, so those are all things that we're trying to work out to make sure that if we do introduce them, it makes sense, players are happy with it as well, and it doesn't screw up the world. Yeah.
Actually, there is one question that I think we can kind of answer about the Jackdaw set. So players were able to claim the emblem
Hmm.
that was launched in celebration of the AC Black Flag launch. So the full set is coming later, but we want season two. Yes, season two. But we want it to be as more of a surprise. So please stay tuned on our socials. So it's definitely coming later. You will get the full set, but just wait a bit of time. Right, so moving to the next question. Will we get more weapon types for every deck beyond demi cannons and culverins?
Mm, so for now, no. um, Not yet. Not yet. We're not expanding yet on all that weapons. But there's a few different things that we are also exploring about. It doesn't mean that there might not be some ships that we want to experiment where things that do not usually fit in those slots or gun port can go into. We can make them available to also bring out that hey, some ships have an affinity for certain weapon types and such. But at the same time, one of the core goals that we're trying to resolve with the big change incoming is to close the gap between large ships to small ships. Um, that all of them are equally viable in content. Of course, not all of them are going to end up doing the same amount of damage, but right now the gap is just pretty big. And we should be going it towards a way of the different ships is a means of different experiences and playstyles. We don't want stats themselves, like stat ceilings, to become a differentiator of these different ship sizes. That's why when I mentioned that, when season 3 hits, when the rework comes, there will be quite a big a change to a lot of things that players are used to. As far as what we have, we are trying to make the experience improved. So where we can, we're not gonna suddenly nerf stuff down and things like that. So as far as we can, the level of power and combat adrenaline that players feel should be retained, but it should be extended outwards to even the goal is all ships, right? All ships should be unique and usable. There should not be any unevenness that like that we just small ships are just unplayable. Like, we have seen a lot of players try to do a lot of ramming and mobility based builds around the beta, but with how combat works right now, the gun port differences just stops there from being any small ship from being a weapon oriented build sometimes.
Yep. Actually, I think the next question also somehow related, right, to your answer above. But the question was regarding weapons. Could we see the implementation of unison long gun or a burning mending auxiliary weapon?
Yep. Yes. So unison long gun, or in essence, I think the larger picture is what we are talking about is, can we have weapons that we can choose or have options where they either fire in a sequential order or all at once? It's not directly part of the immediate Combat 2.0 a rework, but this is another side, almost like a Q. It's QL, not QL, but a feature enhancement that we want to have, where we want to see how we can introduce firing modes in organically, rather than having to slap it on as a unique perk as a weapon. So maybe after that, sure, the unison culverins that we have in urban grade guns, for example, Dardanelles, they might be weapons that are locked, but we will upgrade their perks to actually mean something rather than just this weapon fires altogether. It's a firing mode kind of perk, doesn't doesn't really seem exciting all that much. So we are actually looking at doing a way for players to actually control how they want to fire their weapons. Yeah.
Clear. So, moving to the next questions, I think more of them are on the PvP aspect of the game. So, in general, when it comes to more updates about PvP improvements, PvP world tier that you kind of teased during the last stream, and I was scared. It was overpromising. But Combat 2.0, new PvP events, like, is there any progress or timeline estimates that we have?
Okay. Maybe not exactly like a release date or timeline,
Yep.
but there will be a sequence or order of things of how they're gonna happen. Combat 2.0 is one of the key foundation upon where the rest can follow. So that is the first step. And then of course, I wouldn't say it's a PvP world tier, but it's a world and game mode all in one, or activity all in one, that will possibly include PvP, but it's not the main focus of it is not PvP as a PvP world tier. Is something where it can happen. And of course the PvP players will definitely be able to you know unsheath their swords and prepare their cannons to attack on players in a way that is more organic, that doesn't require both players to flag for it at the same time, but at the same time we want to make sure that it all rolls into part of the experience of the gameplay itself. But first step is definitely Combat 2.0, because we need to we need to rework again on the damages, the resistances, the values of when players are attacking each other. I think right now we face two huge extremes. Players with very strong builds can still destroy a player with the same SR, but maybe not as optimized in just one salvo. Giving no semblance of a combat or reaction. While at the same time we also have situations where if there's a friendly healer nearby, it's impossible to kill a player. So those are all things that will need to be relooked at as well. So once that foundation is set, then we can move on to the rest. Hey, maybe what if there is PvP on the world tier or specific activity itself. Then after that, death types, the PvP game modes, things like that can follow. Yeah.
So the next question is also about PvP. So when will PvP taken seriously so that the gaming experience is good and players don't try it and never come back?
Yeah. So that is one of the key driving factors that pushed up the priority of the whole rework of combat as well, because it's not just a matter of what can we fix on death tides itself specifically, but a proper overhaul and balance of all the combat numbers. Then we can go into fix death types. We don't or PvP itself. We didn't want to do very just quick patchwork fixes to the mode itself when we have identified a bigger underlying issue. So that's why we are taking more time on this. Of course, until it's been properly fixed, PvP is not the best experience right now, but we are looking at it as everything that we do where can be done to improve it helps as much as possible, until we are also going to do a proper rework on the PvP mode itself. But there are features that are affecting PvP's situation right now that are affecting on a game-wide scale. So that's why we are starting from those before we start to focus and narrow down. So it's here to stay. It's not going away. But we are getting there.
All right. Okay. So moving to the next section is about the balancing, more specifically world tiers. So the question is, can you please look at the damage output that the small NPC ships do in World Tier 4? Those are the worst ships in my opinion and can almost destroy you in one volley.
Yes. In fact, this is one of the tweaks that we have also done for the upcoming season. We, as I believe, it's more than just the sharpshooters mentioned, the skirmisher ships as well. Uh, we looked into finer the numbers when ships start to go up into World Tier 4, and there's a particular bracket of ship ranks where the enemies really start to become too vicious, and one of the upcoming changes is actually we tone down the damage of some AI ships, enemy ships, in a very problematic SR range. But toning down the damage is not just the only thing we did. We actually also improved their survivability a little bit more. So the idea is that you don't melt enemies immediately, but at the same time, the damage are controlled. So you still players still have time to react either through evasion, correct bracing, spotting where are the trap points at, instead of we just blast everything and I didn't even know what I just destroyed. So that's how we are also tuning some of it. And also, of course, in the seasonal mastery, there's going to be more ways to allow players to stay alive. So we are kind of tackling that in multiple ways and tweaks.
Gotcha. The next question is, what about a way to receive old bounties and contracts like Fang of the Farah that are currently not receivable?
So we are going through a revision of old bounties and contracts. Some of them might be temporarily taken out or made unavailable, but it's because we're actually doing an overhaul over some of them. Where when they're done, we'll see all of them back, or at least reworked and new versions put back in.
All right. So next question is, will there be a rework or better rewards for the stronghold and forts?
Yeah. So this is also a constant task that we were looking at every season. We are also trying to identify meaningfully what are some of the lacks. I think I saw quite a few players talking about, like, hey, we're running out of ascension parts, be it the ascension modules themselves or upgrade parts, because players are very much into rerolling to lock down the highest value possible. Those items are consumed a lot. So those are things that we can look to improve on some of the contents available. But at the same time, different content should be responsible for different types of items that you want to get from. It might become, while it's convenient that we can just, like, as long as you're on World Tier 4 doing any activity, you can reward a general pool of items, but at the same time, after a while, it makes every activity feel the same. So we're trying to maintain this balance, but we always look at improving the rewards where they're needed. So yes, it's not the end.
The next question is, will there be a major fort for World Tier 3 and World Tier 4?
Nope. But we have a brand new world event that is planned on World Tier 4 for Year 3 Season 2.
Okay. Moving to the next, we actually have still a lot of questions to go to with quite limited time. Maybe we can try go quite a little bit faster so we can answer as much as possible during the stream. Okay, so next question. As for ammunition, have you considered that there could be several categories, each with some improvements?
So yes, as mentioned earlier, we are removing ammunition as it is first, but it doesn't mean that that's the end of ammunition. So we'll see.
Okay, so faction war. Regarding the faction war, the question is when will this format change so the community can be united and or fluid faction swaps?
So faction war is always still fluid. I mean, some of the early developments were to continue to create more variety of activities, so that the events of the war, the gameplay that takes place, can is sufficient and not overly singular. They will definitely continue to improve, or look into, as mentioned, like, hey, do we need to consider allowing players to change allegiances easily, or are there other ways to progress the war, rather than what activities we currently have right now. But I don't think we have any concrete date on when some of these features are coming in, especially the right now. I think this current season is one of the closest we have seen between the two warring factions. So we don't want to throw in yet another variable of switching sides immediately, when things are still kind of like stabilizing a bit. Yeah.
So maybe without spoiling which faction for your season 2, but if there's anything you can share about just in general, like logic or how this faction war gonna evolve in your season 2.
Well, it is related to how the story unfolds. It's but okay, but it's not directly with the new introduced enemy faction that is part of the war. But the reason why there is a war does, yeah, it's definitely not the same actors that we're gonna be seeing fighting a war. But that's all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I've seen a couple of questions already regarding the map expansion, but I think the particular question that we got was when will we finally visit the African capital?
It's not. It's not gonna be ready or planned for the near future. As mentioned, there's a lot of focus right now on improving existing content and mechanics first, and the work required, to throw in that new area of the map, to fit into the existing game as it is, will take more work on top of after it being adapted to changes that we are doing to the foundational features. Yeah.
Okay. It's really, I see a sort of a spoiler in the chat, but I'm not gonna pay too much attention to it. But okay, so the next question is: have natural whirlpools been considered? Whirlpools been considered?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Why not? Maybe we'll see it in the future. Okay, so the next question is regarding again the factions and narrative. Are you planning to expand the game's lore significantly?
Yes, we're still expanding on the lore with every season, but we're also going to be working on some improvements to allow players to easily catch up or review the lore in entirety. Because we have quests that are in general introduced every season, but then some of them might be actually interconnected to other quests, but we don't have a way for players to actually visualize this. So in addition to just expanding on the story, we are also making sure that we are introducing a feature for players to see the whole picture at once. Yeah.
Yep. So next question is I think we kind of touched on this regarding the new factions, but I think the question was when will the British Navy be in the game?
Not yet. yeah, the stories. We'll see how the story unfolds.
Okay. Could we see the implementation of the BTA and Portugal cosmetic set for people who have been after them since release?
Yeah, this is something that we can look into.
So, will the BTA finally get some love? For example, lore wise, they come into the open sea as a result of the faction wars and steal major trade routes from other factions.
Aha. So they are definitely getting more attention, and as mentioned, the we are setting up the stage for their entry. So we will understand their goals and motives more. Yeah, but that's pretty much how
Okay.
much I can say.
Another question is: has the implementation of faction-specific flags been considered?
Yeah, we have discussed this or tried to look into it internally as well. But there might need a little bit more additional work because we don't want to lean into any form of a binary action where players, they might be part of faction war, but they still don't want to show the faction flag, and things like that. So we need to do a little bit more work to provide that and make sure that players who want it or players who do not want it will be able to control how it appears on their ship. So that takes a little bit more time.
Okay, I saw a question in the chat, but I think I have it in the pre-collected as well. So I think we can just tackle it now about the private testing area to test builds. So, Gap, Real Pulda, sorry if I'm butchering your name, but could we get a private testing area to test builds, damage, and healing without interruptions?
Yes, we are working on it to see how we can set up this either a target or an area for players to be able to test their builds or see how their values are shaping up in a controlled environment. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the next question is regarding the seasonal mastery. Could you make an improvement to the health levels in the seasonal tree?
Yes. So this is something that we are constantly evaluating with each season. The various values of the buffs or upgrades provided within the seasonal tree. The In addition to just directly, what we can understand is that survivability doesn't seem to be catching up as well, which therefore players are, appreciating or wanting, like, hey, I wish my HP was a bit more when I use the seasonal mastery tree. So we are approaching this via more than just a singular approach, by just raising a stat. As mentioned previously, we did AI tuning as well, where we also did some fixes to the how extreme the damages that they were dealing. So that also leads to improve survivability. There will be some extra notes that also help with survivability in the next season's mastery tree, including being able to upgrade the amount of repair you receive, right? And that actually also works alongside with soul mending, mending type weapons. We also have introduced some new seasonal perks that will allow players to pick what matches with their playstyle. And one of the benefits that, if they synergize it well, includes also survival benefits. So that's how we have been approaching this. We do balance the values, but it's never a singular approach only.
Okay. The next question is, are you planning to improve William's shop with better rewards or new mechanics? And also, will the shop ever include ascended weapon rewards or a gacha system?
Aha, yes. So in fact, there will be a brand new section opening in Blackwoods in season 2, which is linked to the new activities and enemies that players will get to combat. So within there, there will also be ascended weapons as well as some curated weapons as well.
Okay. So let me see if there are more questions. So will Mythic rerolling ever include perk slots 1, 2, and 3?
Currently, no. But it's also because we have introduced mod transfers as well for players to obtain the mods that they want into the slots specifically. So we will continue to monitor if there's a further need for reforging outside of the mythic slot, but currently no.
Okay, before we move to, okay, let me just see what kind of questions do we have here. I see that drops stopped working. I think because we started slightly later than usual, the configuration timing ended already. So I apologize for that. But I wonder how many people were able to get, or is there a very large amount of players who weren't able to get all the drops? So let us know in the chat. But I think the timing of the stream, I mean of the drops, ended already, but we are keeping the stream slightly longer to be able to answer as many questions as possible. So I think we'll be live for maybe 10 minutes more to be able to answer your questions before we end the stream. Cool. But one thing though, sorry. So the drops, I saw someone mentioned in the chat that it's the same drops that were 2 months ago. So the thing is that we will start with the season 2, we'll start rotating the drops. So if there are any drops that are super popular and a lot of people miss them, feel free to leave your suggestions as well. So we will rotate them during the streams along with newer drops. Yep, so that's on the drops, but let's move to the next question. So regarding the Ascension, specifically, what's being done to improve the current system, costs, roll caps, RNG, selecting specific perk types for all slots?
Yes. So with one of the things, of course, we talked about to reduce RNG, or the process of building the weapon that you are actually wanting with the mods. Mod transfers is being introduced. We also understand that there are some mods that are just not useful at all, that just waste rolls. We, as mentioned, with the combat overhaul that's incoming, those would be adjusted and changed as well. Regarding costs, those will also be matched up with improvement of rewards. Now that we have higher world tiers, so that's kind of where being able to fine tune the weapon mods and ascensions is going to be important. So we'll be adjusting the earn rates so that the costs don't feel as prohibitive previously. We have also introducing, we'll be looking to also introduce more targeted activities where it also relates to mods that players want appearing on either specific type of weapons or a specific type of mods that will appear dropping from a specific activity, things like that. So outside of just having to keep re-rolling at the blacksmith, there'll be other means for players to try to work towards what they want.
Okay, so next question is about the quality of life, UI, UX, and bugs. So are there any major quality of life improvements coming in the next season or seasons to come?
Yeah, so one of the big ones is definitely about mastery loadouts. So you can create a few different loadouts of how you want the mastery tree and seasonal perks to be set up. And if players go to their ship setup as well, they can even choose to tag one of those mastery loadouts to the ship. So when players change from ship to ship. They don't have to do the extra step of, oh, I finished changing my ship, let me go and change the mastery loadout as well. So players can kind of like put everything together in a preset that they want, and then so when they switch to it, it's there. We also did a smoothing out of the mastery leveling pacing past level 50. We have it's been smoothed out to make the to make the climb less painful, while at the same time we also looked at activities on World Tier 4 and also increased infamy rewards on some of the key activities, or in fact almost all of them as well, so that the progression of leveling keeps pace properly, both in just increasing in World Tier as well as when you increase up in Mastery. Yeah.
I actually saw a question in the chat, and I think we do have it in pre-collected as well. Any hopes on improving the helm animations?
Yes. So we are actually reviewing and doing improvements to the captain's animations, including on land movement, and controlling of the helm. So we are actually working on improving them. Yeah.
Okay, so another question is, what's being done to increase community communications and engagement in the game? Maybe group improvements. Will chat ever work reliably in game direct messaging?
Yes. We are always trying to resolve as much of identifiable issues within the chat itself, and of course there's also other factors, as we mentioned, like what can we do to improve players together within the game. Right now, even if we have a world chat, world chat is kind of limited to whichever server you're on. How do we extend that out to a bigger group of to bring captains together? We have a few features that we're working on to look at. So yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, will the armor transmog feature ever be implemented?
Yes, it will be implemented, but we are still not sure when.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on it.
The next question is, in the character customization section, have you considered giving the HUHD a revamp in the future?
Yes, we are going through quite a lot of the various menus and HUDs within the game. Eventually, yes.
So also when it comes to it, but for the Death Tide Pass, or a system more similar to that of a smuggler be improved apart from the rewards?
Yes, but as I mentioned as well, when it comes to Death Tides, it's not just any singular aspect of it that we want to just fix. We will be doing a pass on the whole Death Tides itself, including the reward tracks within it, among other things.
All right. Okay, so now we are down to cosmetics and customization questions. So can we get an in-game shop where we can actually pay silver to get old cosmetics?
Yes, it is possible. We are looking for more ways to expand and extend more cosmetics availability to players. But at the same time, we're also looking at ways or creating activities for players where they get to both play an event and get cosmetics as well. Not just let me go to a vendor menu to you just get it. We want to try to make sure that players have some fun along with it as well. Such as I think the Glory Adorned events are something that players our veterans are familiar with. We want to see how we can make those better. We want to see like, hey, what other ways or activities can we make for players to also get more cosmetics. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask a question from the chat. Someone says, please ask Sam Quack about the new bosses. I asked. Now it's his time to answer.
Okay. The one of the new boss has my favorite new attack animations.
Okay,
It has
that's
definitely has a superstar entrance. Quite painful, but it actually is one of the bosses with quite a predictable pattern you can look out for. But the event is very challenging.
okay. Next question is about the cosmetics. Is there going to be a Nordic cosmetics? Nordic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We always explore different themes or inspirations for our cosmetics. I believe we already have some in the works that are Nordic themed as well. And we are always happy to get more requests, more ideas about what sort of inspirations we want to have on our cosmetics.
I like the comment, Haaland in the game. Maybe get inspired by the.
Haaland, Haaland.
We'll see. Okay, is there an interest or intention to alter how cosmetic auras function?
Yes. In fact, in upcoming very soon, we have updated the way auras can be used or triggered by players. Instead of just on automated when when you secure the kill or you finish the boss or event. There will be action wheel toggle that is added where players will get to trigger their equipped ship auras at will.
Cool. In year 3 season 2, right?
Yes.
Cool. So the next question is, will the cosmetic store receive an update where players can buy more individual parts of the set, such as ornaments or emissive hulls?
Uh yeah. So we tend to bundle up a lot of the cosmetics, and the bundle actually already comes with a bulk discounts over the individual items, and we tried to not make the store too difficult to navigate with too many individual items. But we can see how we can have individual items available on sale while still making it not a nightmare to scroll through. But maybe we can also understand a bit more like, hey, maybe other than entire collections, what are some of the mini bundles or items that you really want to acquire them individually?
Okay, there's one question that I want to take from the chat because I think the person asked it multiple times. So it's, let me just scroll a bit up. I'm sorry. Okay, are there plans for us to be able to mount shields on our ships too, like the twins?
As add-on equipment, very difficult. But it doesn't mean that will forever be excluded from players' arsenal or what they can play around with.
Okay. All right. So we are quite actually, I think, done with more like gameplay, game feature related questions. There were a couple of other questions related to the AC Black Flag Resync. So the question is, we appreciate the free AC Black Flag Resync emblem. And yes, by the way, you can log into the game to grab the new emblem that I think Neo is currently using as well. But what about the entire cosmetic set that Edward Kenway wears in the game? Is there any possibility that we could get more stuff from the Black Flag Resynced?
Yeah, we have more cross collab content planned and more cosmetics in the works. But stay tuned. The info will be coming by very soon.
Yes. All right. I think one of the last questions is regarding the community contest. So we've just recently had our Galleon photo mod contest, which had a lot of participants, and thank you everyone who participated. But the question is, there should be a player competition for designing a ship ornament.
Yes, actually, that's something that we really want to do as well. I think we had a first trial of it with the emblem, competition. So there's nothing stopping us from now moving on to the next stage, which is, hey, how about a whole full ship collection? How about even a captain outfit, possibly, right? But there will be some caveats. The bigger the cosmetic set, the more complex it is.
Yep.
It also mean that we need to be expect that between the competition itself, between the entries to them finally appearing in game, it will definitely take a lot longer than the emblem competition. But yes, we wanna do that.
All right. And I think we're kind of done with most of the questions. Another question was regarding the Twitch drops, but we've said that we're going to have a rotation of all Twitch drops planned across year three. So if you missed the drop like today, sorry guys that most of you missed the deck firework drop. There will be another chance to get it, definitely, even with the one that's going to be very soon on August 12th. So jump into the stream to claim it. And I think for the next time, we will try to put the configuration time longer so more people have a chance to claim it. Okay, the last question that I see here, will there be a year 3 edition of the game?
Yeah, we are working on updating the various offerings of the game and what content is included. So more details will be communicated soon once the updated plans are confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And cool. I think we're pretty much done with all the questions, and we've went over the time quite, I think, with like 20 minutes, but I think our goal was to answer as many questions as possible. So I really, really appreciate you guys staying with us despite all the different timings. Someone is staying up the night, someone is early morning. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. So as I said in the beginning, this was streamed to more of a kind of align with our transparency efforts to keep you guys in the loop on where we at, where's the team at, what's the feedback coming from the insider program, what are we going to do to address it. So as always, keep the feedback coming, and again, stay tuned on our socials, because I think we will start revealing some of the stuff that's coming in year 3 season 2 very soon. And of course, join us on August 12th for a stream where we will preview the build. All right, Sam, before we end the stream, anything you wanted to say to the community?
Well, it's really great to see all the commitment, the love that our players have for the game, and I always enjoy being able to share more with everyone, as well as to hear what concerns players have, and what giving me new ideas for what I can add in, and at the same time, just being able to see players have fun, despite they will share problems with us, but they share it because they love the game, and they see what we have been doing for the game, what we've been adding in, is really what makes everything worthwhile.
Cool. And thank you so much, Neo, for staying with us. I hope you really get better soon. And someone said that the Captain GTI will be streaming after this, or is he already streaming? So everyone who is watching this, please go watch Captain GTI as well. And for now, I think we're ready to say goodbye and see you next time. Bye-bye.